I would like to know. Actually, okay. First, with my worldview, okay. Um, hence the title of the Google Hangout, "The Failure of Secular Morality." Okay. My worldview says that cheating, a man not being faithful to his wife is wrong all the time. A woman being raped is wrong all the time. There is no scenario where it then becomes good. Okay? It is wrong all the time because a lawgiver said it was wrong all the time and gave definite reasons on why it's wrong all the time. Whereas relative morality is going to say, well, it may be wrong in this country, but because this country over there says it's right, who am I to say that it's wrong?
I've got a good one for this, Gman, if you don't mind me responding back to it.
Just 1 second, Chaz, because I'm gonna let Chaz speak on this, but I do want to hear how adultery is relative and is not something that is wrong all the time. I want to know when it's okay to commit adultery, when it's okay for a person to be raped. But go ahead, Chaz.
Adultery is not the same as rape.
Yeah.
It's two different scenarios. It's two different situations. Go ahead.
Okay. Well,
they're both wrong all the time in the Bible. Okay.
One thing we have to understand is that as beings, we are consciously aware of our environment with our mind, which is internal. However, the environment that we live in is external, and we function as part of that environment. The things we do in the world around us have consequences on us because we are part of that environment. When we change something, we ultimately change everything about ourselves, which is how evolution works. Things change the circumstances that they sit in, and that alters the course of how their breeding determines the future of their species. Just like the things on this earth evolve biologically, they also evolve through things like culture, language evolve. We've seen how words have taken on completely different meanings, and how cultural values have changed. Between two different cultures, there are different variables. The one situation will not be the best social cohesion in another. So under moral relativism, you'd expect to find differences all the time, and there's a good and positive reason for that, because people's environments are not entirely the same.
Okay, like so can you answer my question then, and answer how? Can you just do me a favor real quick and just use one example with adultery? Why adultery would be right in any situation?
Having sex outside of a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that could be conducive to the.
We're talking about adultery. I didn't say anything about sex outside of marriage. I said adultery, cheating on your spouse.
Cheating on your spouse. Okay, sex outside of your marriage, then. Effectively, that's what adultery is. You will be having sex with somebody outside of your marriage.
Okay, so please explain to me when it's okay.
Well, it's up to the people that are involved. Say like a husband and a wife want to decide, well, we don't find each other sexually attractive anymore, so we're going to allow each other to have affairs, to go and get their jollies off. But we enjoy each other's company, and the sort of like the social currency of us being a unit together. We like each other's like friendship, companionship, but we don't like each other in a sexual way. People have the right to decide if that's the sort of life that they want to lead, and obviously change it when they do not.
Okay, but the problem you're having right now is that if they make a decision that the two of them don't like each other no more and they want to have sex out with different partners outside of those two, they're making a conscious decision to do that. It's only cheating when it's done without the other person's consent. So I would like to know again, when is it right for a person to cheat on their spouse?
When they have the consent of their spouse to go outside of the marriage.
But if they do that, then it's no longer. If that happens, then it's no longer cheating because they have permission.
Like that, right? Sorry, no, I misunderstood what you meant there.
Okay.
Yeah, no. When would it be okay for somebody to cheat on their partner? Well, it's kind of a funny thing. It's up for them to decide and their partner to decide. Yeah, they could. The thing is, when we commit an action, we take onus of the way we affect our environment, the external world. When we choose to commit to a behaviour, we have positive and negative consequences that come as part of that behaviour. The risk versus reward. We go and drink water. Well, it could be laced with parasites and protozoa and giardia, which can make us very, very sick. But if we don't drink the water, we die of dehydration.
Okay. Again, if the partner is giving consent for the person to sleep with somebody else, that's not cheating.
Well, no,
that's
I'm just saying.
And it sounded like you just dodged what I just asked you.
No, okay.
Well, no, G-Man, I can try again. Perhaps if I put it like this. No, I've got an example here. Hold on. I'm a married man.
One at a time.
I'm a married man. I'm a married man, yeah? Now, if I decided, you know, the wife and I hadn't had sex in ages, let's say we got problems in our marriage, for instance, we hadn't had sex for ages, and I decided to go looking for sex outside of our marriage to have an affair, yeah? Or let's say I got tempted because of there's a beautiful new secretary at my work or something like that, yeah? Let's go with some cliches because they're what everybody knows. So I choose to do that, yeah? Now, I have to take onus of the responsibility of my behavior if I'm a moral person. So I have to say, right, I've just done this. If my wife finds out and or I decide to tell her and she righteously wants to never speak to me again, she has the right to do that, yeah? I chose to do that behavior. This was my fault. I reacted with my environment. I altered my environment. I put myself in a situation where this could arise. I have to take onus of that behavior. If you change what circumstances are going on in your environment, you can mitigate your risk.
Okay, Chaz, I don't know if you understand this, Chaz, but if you choose to cheat on your wife, it's still wrong. Okay, especially particularly because it's done without her knowledge and you didn't get her permission. If you got her permission, then it wouldn't be wrong because it wouldn't be cheating then.
Well, that being relative to her.
Just
hold on, I got a quick question.
Just let me finish. Just let me finish what I was saying real quick, please.
I'll be quick.
Okay. So the whole point of me bringing that up is and I'm not trying to one up you. Okay. The point of me bringing that up is to basically say, according to my worldview, when God says that it's wrong to commit adultery, okay, and that is to cheat on your spouse or to break your marriage vows with your spouse without their knowledge, okay, or without their permission, okay, to be unfaithful, to sleep with another person when you promise to be faithful with that person, that is wrong all the time. And I've been listening to you now give your explanation for relativism, and all of it depends on the other person being okay with it, giving you permission, permission to go and do. Let me finish. Okay, all of that depends on the person giving you permission to do what you're going to go do, which wouldn't be adultery anymore. Okay, so that's all I'm saying, and I'm going to leave it there.
Well,
okay?
Let me ask you a quick question, because he's not exactly representing my argument properly.
I know. I just need a quick clarification. Then I promise, it's quick. I just want to know how consent makes it not cheating.
If somebody gives you permission to go, I'll give you a biblical example if you don't mind. Abraham was married to Sarah in the Bible, and what happened was Sarah couldn't have any kids. So Sarah gave Abraham, and they were married, Abraham and Sarah. Okay.
Perfect example.
Sarah gave Abraham permission to have sex with a midwife to have a child. That wasn't adultery because his wife gave him permission to do that. He wasn't being unfaithful to her because she gave him permission. Now, had he went out and did that, had he went out and cheated on Sarah, or went out there and had sex with Hagar without her knowing about it and without her consent, then that would have been cheating. Okay, that's what I'm saying here. Okay, what you're saying, the excuse, the reasons you're giving for adultery being okay in any situation has to do with consent. I'm talking about you're in a marriage relationship, you're with your wife, and you're cheating on her without her consent, or you're sleeping with somebody else beside her without her consent. That would be adultery.
What about all
Yes,
the
but the
times
only
in the Old
reason why you
Testament?
would
One second. What about all the? I mean, in the Old Testament, they didn't need permission from their wife to have multiple wives or concubines and other types of sexual servants.
And that's a different issue.
You're talking about a different issue, and you're talking
No,
about
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm talking about.
And you're talking about laws for kings.
Oh, so the laws for kings are different. So they're not absolute. They're not absolute because they're relative to the person.
No, Ben. There's a difference between me talking about cheating on your wife and a king being allowed to have multiple wives.
Than the rules for the commoner.
Okay, Ben. Okay, Ben. You gotta let me finish, Ben. You gotta let me finish.
I'm done.
Okay, cool. Okay, so a king was allowed to have multiple wives in those days. Okay,
right.
A normal schmo like myself was only allowed to have one wife. Okay, a king can have wives and concubines. A person like me can only have one wife.
Do you not find that a little bit convenient, though, G-Man?
No, I don't find it convenient. If you actually,
well, and this is not to be
if you were finished,
wasn't it?
Just let me finish. Just let me finish. If you're actually knowledgeable about the laws that are in the Bible, then you would actually know in advance before even asking a question like that was the case. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, no, if you were a king, though, you could have as many women as you liked, but simply because of the design of your birth, that you were poor, you could only have one wife. So it was kind of convenient for the kings that God just happened to give them everything for them. One rule for them and one rule for everybody else.
Let him finish, Becco. Let him finish.
Okay.
Is anybody else here besides...
Plus, can I just ask you, man, while we're talking about marriage and on this subject, do you believe then that marriage is for one man and one woman, or do you think that somebody like the president, because they're the modern day equivalent to a king, should be allowed to have more than one wife?
What are the laws of the land here in the United States? Because now we're going off a topic.
So
what are the laws here in the United States?
No, hold on, G-Man. Is biblical law then relative to...
No, you don't need the president. There are still kings today. There are still kings today.
Okay, so pick a king. Then. What are the laws in that country?
That was back in the biblical days, though.
There's not a king of England. There's a queen of England. But if she dies, there could be a king of England sometime in the next couple decades. So if he, because he's a king, should he be able to have as many wives and concubines as possible? As many as he can afford.
This is kind of off topic, but
no,
I'll
it's
answer
not.
your question.
It's exactly where we.
Oh no! It's very much off topic, Ben, and I would appreciate it if you like having a conversation. You forgot about that?
No, I'm listening.
Okay. So all I'm saying is this, okay? And we was doing really good until we started getting into this stuff and whatnot. If I'm gonna say something that you're gonna disagree with, give me the opportunity to finish, because I know you're gonna say some stuff I'm gonna disagree with. Okay. All I'm saying is, okay, with the example that I gave, is that God says that adultery is wrong all the time, and the person that holds a relative view of morality is going to tell you that, well, there are some cases where adultery is not wrong all the time. And I haven't heard one example, not one yet, that would suggest that it's cool to cheat on your spouse. Not one.
You're trying to quantify what cheating is. That's the thing. If you don't know what cheating is, you can't answer that question.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. I'm not sure.
You don't know what cheating is? I mean, are you serious? Are we really
according to Gman's own standards? Let me ask him this real quick.
Hey! One at a time now.
Okay,
you ain't gotta tell them. I'm gonna start muting people.
Is that if you can't say that there's a standard that we're all to be held to, then you can't say what cheating is. You're saying that for a king, there's a different standard, and it's not even like a clear standard. In the Bible, it's pretty much just like Solomon had something like, 40 wives, 100 wives, 200 wives, 1,000 wives?
Yeah, more than that.
No, seriously, it was ridiculous, right? He was like, every woman...
wives and 300 concubines to be exact.
Okay, so it was as many women as you could afford, as many women as you could put up in your castle, that's how many you could have. I mean, you can say what you want to say, but don't call that an absolute standard. It's not one.
Okay,
It's
okay,
not.
okay, Ben. Okay, there's a couple of things that you need to understand. Number one, this has nothing to do with classes and being rich and being poor. Okay, this has to do with what God said was law and what He said was not law. That's what this has to do with. If you want clarification on why a king could have more wives than the average Smo, we can talk about that. We can open up our Bibles and we can look on the why on it. But right now, you're getting close to making a lot of claims about the wives, about why a king can have more wives than the average person. And if you keep doing that, I'm going to hold you accountable to that, and I'm going to ask you to get a Bible and prove your claim. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of grace and assume. I'm going to give you a little bit of grace, and I'm going to assume that you were just speaking presumptuously. Okay.
Nope, I wasn't. I wasn't because no, you actually said it yourself. You said the standard was different for kings. You said that.
No, I did not. I said the law was different.
Yeah.
What, the law of the land?
And you are changing the subject.
What? No, hold on, G-Man. Can we just quantify? Are you talking about God's law as set down in the Bible, or are you talking about the laws of man as set down by, say, a king?
Can I respond to that?
This is what I'm talking about, Chaz. Okay, and I would appreciate it if you guys pay attention. Listen, this is what I'm talking about. Talking about the fact that relative morality changes over time. Absolutes stay the same all the time. Okay, and God said that adultery is wrong all the time. To be unfaithful is wrong all the time.
G-Man, you just dodged my question completely.
Chaz, if you're not gonna let me finish, Chaz, I appreciate you coming here today, Chaz, but I am really not in the mood to have nobody coming in disrupting my room.